Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's having a great evening. Today's Thursday. One more day and the work week's over. So let's just finish strong, and then hopefully a lot of you have the weekend off to relax and enjoy time with your family and everything. Here we have another story time with Derzz. I got 4 books I'm going to kind of catch you guys up on that I've been reading. There's a bunch of other books too, but these are kind of my favorites and most noteworthy ones. This is Thor, issue 27. I'm very excited. I was very excited to read this, seeing that Venom was back with Donny Cates and that Thor was finally coming back. It's been a few weeks. So here we have the remnants of the Banner of War Hulk thing, where he's talking to his father, who's in Mjolnir, about how the Bifrost got destroyed and how he's sorry and guilty for that. So saying basically that he's the king of Asgard now and he has to atone for his sins and figure out a way to bring the Bifrost back. And then Loki comes into the picture. And then if you read any of the current Thors, you know that Loki has him buried with the serpent, torturing him. And then Thor basically wants Loki to rebuild the Bifrost with any magic or any means necessary. So here we have Loki trying to rebuild the Bifrost, and basically Loki saying it could take a week, it could take 10,000 years. He doesn't know because he's using different kinds of magic to try and rebuild it because it's still there. He just has to piece together the magic. And then what I thought was really interesting about this book is this dude comes through the portal, and basically, if you read through it, it says rumors have reached me of late of dark deeds, far off realms, deeds of carnage. And I thought that was really cool that it's tying in the current Carnage book of everything that's going on. And then he recognizes him as Darkoth, the death demon. And if you've read the current Carnage, you know that Carnage corrupted him. So he comes through and starts putting on a show of power, basically overwhelms them, hits them with an energy blast, and then leaves behind kind of a symbiote. And then another kind of cool tie-in is if you're reading the current Venom, here's where Venom can take control of any symbiote and project his mind into it. So here he projects himself. So he teams up with Thor to go after the Malakoth creature, and he tells it basically he's the king in black, and he wants to bring it back old school. So I liked how they had Venom flying again. So basically Venom's getting overpowered, and the power, it's interesting, the power that he had just touching Venom really hurt him. So at the final page, the creature's basically learning how to fight, adapting his power as he goes, and at the end he creates his own Thor's hammer. So very curious to see where Venom and Carnage and Thor, how these all 3 books kind of cross in and tie into each other. So let's get to the next one. All right, here we have Gunslinger number 12. Last time when we left off, Gunslinger had his head on a pike and his head was ripped off. So here we go. We're going to start out with the main bad guy having his head basically ripped off, slams his head on a pike, and then you got Jonathan trying to get away, and he just tells him he's a Winter Stone. You think you can just get away from me? Yokes him up with the whip, and then you got this great 2-page splash page with Gunslinger and then the main bad guy who are fighting, and basically he comes back, stabs him in the eye, tells him to leave that boy alone, and then he basically you see right here that there's a wolf's head on a pike instead of Gunslinger, and basically telling him that it's deception is one of his biggest powers, and that he needs a living creature or something living to kind of swap with. So here they continue to fight, and then it cuts to where all the angels got their wings ripped off by this new guy that we're just seeing for the first time called Savitar. So he's looking for that main bad guy, the Winterstone character, and Gunslinger. So we don't know too much about him. So it just kind of flashes to him, and then cuts back to the battle where Winterstone's got this energy field, almost Dragon Ball Z style, trying to prevent Gunslinger from doing any damage. So then we go to the next page. Sorry guys, I'm losing my voice a little bit tonight. I don't know if I'm getting sick or what, but my voice had kind of been getting it going in and out, but I still wanted to get out there and get a video done. But anyways, it cuts to where you see Gunslinger's whole family basically explaining how his family got murdered by the Winterstone family. And then it cuts to him basically taking out his entire family in cold blood, and that sparks rage in Winterstone, and he knocks Gunslinger back. And then you have Jonathan Taylor hit him in the back of the head, break the stick over him, has the wolf come, and then basically Gunslinger howls at the moon and just goes into a frenzy, starts absolutely stabbing this dude over and over and over, and gets him hung up on a noose, pulls out his spawn bullets and just starts lighting this dude up. And I thought this was one of the coolest little art pages. Like I said before, Brett Booth absolutely kills it week in and week out. So you had Winterstone, because he can't die, but he's basically just shredded. So he just leaves with his boys and the wolf, and then he just says he has things to do. So curious to see where Gunslinger goes from there. So let's get into the next book. All right, here we have Axe Judgment Day, issue 5. Series has been pretty solid in my book. If you just read this main book and not all the other tie-ins, I think it's a lot more enjoyable. The artwork definitely carries this book. So here we have basically this issue starting off as the Celestials basically telling them it's the end and gives the Earth the thumbs down. And then it cuts. One of the things I like about this book and the last issue had was it cut to each kind of random characters and different people in the world and judging them individually. And then it cuts to Captain America just kind of sitting here chilling. And then Nightcrawler hops in. He's like, hey, bro, I don't know why you're just sitting here chilling. We need you to deliver a message. And then he teleports him right in front of the Celestial. Basically gives him a speech about humanity, trying to hype the whole world up, saying assemble and avenge for the Avengers. And then Nightcrawler and Captain America just get wiped out by the Celestial. X-Men and Krakoa, having all the things that they can do, brings back Nightcrawler. He's standing there with Logan, talking about how they have a plan to break into the Celestial, and that the Eternals, they want their help, but by their nature, they can't harm a Celestial. So the plan is that all the psychics, like Jean Grey and all them, are going to take over the Celestial's mind, or not the Celestial, but the Eternal's mind, and then that way they can, it's not directly them attacking the Celestial. So here we got all the plan and the action. You got the X-Men, the Avengers, and then the Eternals all pushing towards the Celestial and starting this big battle that it's been building up to. Their big plan was to get close and have Thor hit him right in the center. Thor gets absolutely evaporated, and then we have Starbrand, Phoenix, and G-Grain, Exodus. They're all just incinerated instantly. Thor's incinerated. Here we have Iron Man trying to get close. He sees that another explosion is going to happen. And then 2 issues back, they had this ship trying to get off the planet. The Celestial sees it, and he's like, no, you're not. Nobody escapes the judgment, and basically brings that ship crashing down. Cuts back to the X-Manor, where Iron Man escaped to. And all the X-Men are coming back in their little eggs, and they're talking about who they should bring back. Everybody said Cyclops, that he's a great leader, but they said that's not who they need right now. So then you have, excuse me, sorry, like I said, I'm totally losing my voice. You have Starbrand coming off, like I said, trying to get the Celestial's attention, and nothing's working, so he just gets absolutely evaporated. And here is one final thing. They only said they have a few eggs left. So they said, should they bring back Cyclops? And they're like, no. And then you see that they're bringing back Captain America. So, like I said, definitely curious to see how this concludes. See what the significance in this and the whole Marvel and X-Men universe. And let's hopefully it ends well. So it's a solid read. I enjoy it so far. So let's get into the final book. All right. The last book I have, and I know a lot of people are probably going to agree on me, for the week was The Amazing Spider-Man, number 10. Was definitely my favorite one. I loved how they tied this into the Axe Judgment. So here we go. We have Peter hearing about the news, telling everybody that saw it. Iron Man shows up and basically explains the situation. And Peter's like, oh, he already knows what's going on because he's starting to see Gwen Stacy. And he's like, no reason. Basically, the Celestial shows up as visions of what you think you should be judged on, and that's what you're going to see. So his day, everybody's trying to do the day normal. His friend shows up telling him that he still needs to get tuxes for the wedding. Peter thinks he's crazy trying to live his normal day, but like I said, everybody's kind of doing their day to day. This dude's old guy's still open, and he said maybe something to be worthy is just doing finishing a nice day's work. And then you have Aunt May here sitting here, and her vision is Uncle Ben. So like I said, this was a very, very touching and very heartwarming issue, especially at the end. Of course, Jonah Jameson is trying to atone for being an a-hole all these years to Peter and everybody else, trying to call them up and apologize. Gwen leaves. She's on the roof. He's trying to explain what's going on. And then he jumps down, and then he meets up with Miles, just basically saying that he's proud of him. He's proud to share the name Spider-Man with him, and Miles is proud back. But Miles was found worthy as well. Peter lays down, trying to sleep, and basically Gwen's just creeping, staring at him. Peter can't sleep, of course, so Peter gets up and starts explaining that he's sorry and everything. So then the next day he's going to just go to work and everybody's just trying to have a normal day. They don't really know what they need to do to kind of feel judged or feel worthy. So everybody's just going about their day-to-day life. So here we have Norman show up, and of course everybody knows why Gwen freaks out because of Norman. Peter snaps and goes ballistic and tells Norman to leave, that he needs to get out of there. And then basically his coworker, what she's being judged on is with Captain Marvel. Gwen takes off, and then Peter gets up to the roof and starts explaining that it was all his responsibility. He's sorry, that he wishes there was more he could have done, more he could have said, and there's nothing he could really done. And then the Celestial pops back into Gwen. He speaks. He says, "I see your heart is full, Peter. I see that as full and alive." So basically at the end he judged him worthy. So his gift pops Gwen, the real Gwen, back in. She says, "Peter." And he says, "Gwen, it's you, I can tell." She says, "Where have I been? I've been somewhere for a long time. What happened to you, Peter? You're older," because she's been gone for years. She says, "I sure have missed you." And he says, "I sure have missed you too." So as she fades away, she says, "I'm leaving, Peter." He says he just wanted to give us a moment to see that beautiful heart of yours open, Gwen. And then she fades away. And then it ends with him, "What a day." And then kind of the cliffhanger in the background, you see that Norman was seeing the whole thing. And he said he was talking to her. She was real. She was real. And he says, "Stop, Norman. You need to pull it together. You're fine. Everything is fine." And then Gwen is behind him. So curious to see what happens in the next issue. And we'll pick it up from there. But other than that, I hope you guys are having an amazing weekend before. Again, I'm one subscriber away from 150. So as soon as I hit that 150 mark, you're going to see that 200 subscriber announcement video coming. Please make sure to leave hashtag shoutout in any and all my videos to be included in my Friday positivity and shoutout videos. Just looking out for the homies and just going to kind of do a little bit of positivity every Friday to kind of change it up to not really be comic related or just kind of hit some real world topics. But other than that, I love you guys. I appreciate you always. I hope all the comic homies at New York Comic Con are being safe and having an amazing time. And I wish you guys the best. Much love. And as always, I hope you guys find what you're looking for. Thank you.